All right, what is going on, my lovely people? Better than before. How you doing? How are you? How's your self-improvement journey going? Are you making the steps forward? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing? Are you finding yourself slacking? Let me know down below. And even just like liking and commenting and stuff, it really helps out the YouTube video. So I would definitely really appreciate that. But I'm here. I have like a good 25 minutes before I gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and talk in a video, or make a video that I wanted to make for a bit while I sip on my coffee, or my coffee. Should give you a hint where I'm from. So let's get into it, guys. So I'm talking here about the core habits, the habits and the behaviors that should be, and the actions that should be done every single day if you're on the self-improvement journey. I think if you're not doing any of these 5 things, you are significantly decreasing your chance of success with your self-improvement, with NoFap, with many things, especially like your internal, your mental state, your stresses, your depression, your anxiety. I think without these 5 things, you're significantly increasing your chances of falling yourself into those categories. And so the first thing is going to be based off of a video that I made previously, which is about exercise. Exercise is absolutely one of the core habits that need to be in your routine on a regular basis. You need to be moving your body, sweating, exercising, pursuing a fitness goal. You need to be doing this. This is the most important thing for your mental health, for your mental psyche. If you are not exercising, if you're not seeing your body make progress, then you are significantly improving your chances of like falling into anxiety, falling into depression. Exercise is so important. Like, it is absolutely the most important thing. Otherwise, especially with NoFap, you're going to have all this pent up energy. In fact, I would say, as far as like exercise goes, and as far as like routine and staying consistent, and as far as like getting in better shape and receiving the health benefits, you really only need to be exercising 3 to 4 times a week for 30 to 45 minutes. That's really it. If you spend a good amount of time sweating, huffing and puffing, you absolutely will feel way better about yourself. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel more clear. You're going to feel more focused. You're going to have less anxiety, less depression. You're going to be receiving those hormones that are elicited when we do go into deep exercise. And especially if you're doing NoFap, I might say like you might fall in love with exercise. Like, exercise might become the new PMO if you're not currently engaging in exercise. That will become your new addiction, which in and of itself, that can have some problems. You don't want to be really addicted to anything. You shouldn't really be addicted to exercise. I mean, yeah, there's a healthy obsession for sure, right? But you don't want to be addicted, because there are people that get addicted to exercise and they wind up, overworking themselves. They get injured, they get hurt. What I mean is that you just make some clear goals. Maybe you find some guidance, you start doing research, and you start getting yourself out there and you start exercising, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's just doing push-ups and running at home, like whatever it is that currently, start getting that huffing and puffing, start sweating, start putting yourself out there and start working hard. Make yourself breathe heavy. If you need to lose weight, if you need to gain weight, start working towards that. I think that is the number one thing, the number one priority. It takes precedence over everything, over finances, over relationships, over all of that. It is exercising, because exercising is a core habit. And when you do it, you're going to wind up affecting other things at a much more positive rate. Okay. The second core habit is going to be meditation. Now, you can simply use Headspace or Calm, or you can use like a meditation on YouTube. There's a bunch of guided ones. You can sit and follow your breath for 10, 15, 20 minutes every morning, right? I think every single morning, if you start off with meditation, you will significantly improve the way that you live, right? This is another one of those core habits. I think what meditation especially really does is it allows you to kind of notice when you're starting to go into like a panic. So especially if you're dealing with trauma, if you're dealing with stressful situations at work or at home, or you have a hard time staying connected with a girl, I think that by meditating, it allows you to kind of look at those thoughts and say like, okay, they're just thoughts. They don't actually represent who I am or what I'm doing. I'm just going to return myself back to this present state of consciousness. And when you like learn how to do that, it helps you navigate those stressful moments like way easier. You start to succumb less to urges as well, because you're actually doing something about that feeling and you're recognizing it and you're accepting it for what it is, right? Like I think a lot of us, we have all this like pent up energy, pent up trauma, pent up emotion, and we try our hardest to like, hey, like how can I get rid of the urges, right? Like you're not going to get rid of the urges. You're going to spend a majority more of your time with a freaking hard-on when you're by yourself. Like you're just going to have to deal with it. That's literally what it is. But by meditating, it allows you to kind of just settle yourself into that energy, and it doesn't become something that is, negative, but it becomes something that you actually like look forward to doing because you know it's going to give you a benefit, right? It's kind of like the same thing with exercise, and meditation and exercise, they can help each other. And a lot of people even say that exercise is a form of meditation, and I believe that it absolutely is. But what I'm talking about with meditation and your core habit is that every morning before you get your day going, you start your day by following your breath for 10, 15, 20 minutes, or you follow like a guided meditation, and you go through those like breathing sequences or present moment sequences, whatever it is that you're doing, and you wind up settling yourself into those emotions, and it becomes easier to just do, right? It becomes easier to just do things rather than always thinking about the thing. So that is the second core habit for sure, meditation. The third is going to be journaling. So you want to be able to start taking recognition and conscious awareness of what activity is going on in your thought process, right? And I believe that journaling helps us kind of achieve that. Journaling is very important because it helps us ultimately achieve a form of clarity. When we're able to get our thoughts out onto paper and we're visibly able to see in words what is bothering us, what's causing us stress, what's making us worry, there is an instant feeling of relief right away, because you look at it and you go, well, those things really aren't that bad. All of a sudden you start to clear up your thought process a little bit, because you're not letting yourself get wrapped up in the emotion of whatever it is that's like bothering you, right? So usually what I do and what I recommend is that when you do your journaling, you will write down first 3 things that you're grateful for. You just plot them down. You don't have to overthink it. It could just be one sentence. It doesn't have to be long. Real quick, few things that you're grateful for. Then you're just going to write down like your 3 top priority actions for the day. Okay? For you, that could be exercise, that could be working out, that could be writing work emails, that could be, something that isn't forced. Like if you're going to work, if you're going to work and your shift starts at a certain time and it ends at a certain time, and you don't need to get like particular things done, then you just show up to work and you do your thing. I mean, 3 things that like you're going to have to discipline yourself to go and do. So that could be, like I said, exercise. It could be like talk to a client or whatever the case is. You just want to write down 3 things that are like the most important priority actions for the day. And then after that, you can do a little bit of a brain dump. And what the brain dump is that you just take like a half a sheet of paper or a full sheet of paper, whatever it is that you want to do, and you wind up just plotting down everything that comes to mind. So you don't think about it too much. You write, and you just write down, and you just dump out your thoughts. You dump out your brain right onto the paper, and then you're able to see it, and that in and of itself helps you receive a lot of clarity because you're able to visibly see what's going on. So these 3 things, of course, they all tie into each other, right? Like they help each other. What I'm kind of just doing here is like I'm making like a little priority list. And some people may think that the priorities are different than the way that I'm listing it out. And if that is the case, then that's fine. I'm basically just listing out like the top 5. And you can pick and choose what's a priority in your life. I'm just giving you my general recommendation if you're looking for somebody's recommendation, right? Because this is kind of like the way that I did it. So I think that it can be helpful for other people as well. But the fourth core habit is going to be socializing. This, especially for the no-fappers and those going through that recovery of trauma, is super, super important. And I'm going to give you a really easy way for you guys to get more socializing in. Now, I think it's obvious that, like, instead of it being like over the phone or like messaging people on Instagram or like being on Discord calls with people that you've never really met in real life, I mean socializing in real life, talking to people, and physically being engaged with the outside world. That's the way that I can describe it. So you want to be able to do that on a regular basis. Now, obviously, if you're someone who has a family that you talk to, you have friends, you have sports, I would say engage deeper into those. And that's all I could really say, is that spend more time just being engaged in those situations, deepen your practice, do that meditation and such, and you'll find that the socializing kind of figures itself out. But if you're someone who doesn't really get a lot of socializing and you like want to get a girlfriend, you're like looking up all these pickup artists and stuff, guys, let me tell you, you're not going to get like, you can, but it's going to become like a much more stressful part of your life if you just start like focusing on approaching every single girl that you see in your life. Like, dude, we all have things going on. We all have things to do. And sometimes it's tough to just like make an approach. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. What I'm saying is you don't want to just go out there like looking for like girls or like looking for relationships. It's not really like a good place to be mentally. Not only does it give off bad vibes, but it's also just heavy on yourself. So you don't want to do that to yourself. Instead, what I would recommend is you would just try to engage more in community acts. And that could be a hobby, right? Like that could be like yoga, jiu-jitsu, boxing, going to the gym, working out, talking to the people at like the front desk, or like getting a trainer, joining a boot camp class, doing a fitness class, doing a pottery class, doing a cooking class, like whatever it is, whatever you're doing, a reading book club, like whatever it is that you like, it becomes a thing there in real life. You guys get together and do it. And if there's not a thing, you make a thing, right? That's the main thing. If you want something and it doesn't exist already, well, then you make it. That's like one of the keys to figuring out if you should make something or not. So that is going to be the easiest way to set yourself up, because if you're doing the other core habits, if you join and engage in communities, in groups of things that you actually enjoy doing and that you like doing, then you're going to like naturally just connect to people easier, right? Maybe you go to school for something that you really like. Maybe you may go to school or something like that, and you may not get along with people, and you may not like have friends at school and stuff. First off, let me tell you guys something like about school or whatever. If you're in that age range, like most people that you talk to in school, you're probably not going to talk to for like the rest of your life. So it doesn't really matter. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, engaging in acts and hobbies of things that you actually like join the group that you actually want to do. If it's a Dungeons and Dragon group, but it's in real life, and there might be a couple girls there, go ahead, because girls will do anything. Girls like Dungeons and Dragons. They like other things too that guys like. You just might see more volume of guys if you like that thing. If you wanted to try yoga or badminton or tennis, you'll probably find more girls. I'll tell you that. If you want to put yourself in a situation where you're meeting more girls and you're just practicing talking to girls and not being a weirdo, I think that is great. So, yep, socializing, join a group that you like it. And the final habit is going to be passion, okay? What I mean by passion is it's not just something that pays the bills, but I mean it's something that like when you do it, it gives you this like really deep sense of like purpose and fulfillment. Like it makes you feel some type of way. It makes you feel like energized and rejuvenated, and you think about it, and you wake up and you think about it, and you go to sleep and you think about it. And this one thing that you're just always thinking about, engage in that and engage in that purposeful work, because you could be spending all day making money, banging chicks, but without that passion, you're just going to wind up being a crazy person inside. You're not going to be happy. You're never going to feel fulfilled unless there's something that has to do with passion. Now, I'm not the type of person that says like, if you do your passion, you'll never work a day in your life, because that's not true. You're always going to find days that you don't want to do a thing, and if you put the work in and you have the passion for it, then that's just something that gives you an extra benefit and an extra motivator on top of it, right? The real key is that just on a regular basis and on a daily basis, you're taking the steps forward in things that you find really purposeful. As an example, I really like doing podcasts, and I have a jiu-jitsu podcast that I do, and if I don't engage in the podcast, I feel it. I feel some type of way. When I engage in the podcast, I feel like I'm doing like the right thing. Like there's this work that's getting done, and it feels really, really good. So that's what you need to find for yourself, and you need to just bring up the discipline to do that on a regular basis. So I think that all these 5 habits, they really they coincide, and they kind of help each other out. They kind of connect to each other in some ways. Sometimes exercising will help you with your socializing, which will help you with your meditating, and blah, blah, blah. There's all these different little patterns. So it's kind of what I like about them, right? So these are the 5 core habits. Check in. Is there one that you're missing? Are you missing all 5? If you are missing all 5, don't worry about doing all 5 at the same time. Just focus on doing one thing, master that habit, and then move on to the next one. And you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to try. If you want to try multiple habits at the same time, then yeah, go ahead and do it, because they may reinforce each other. But that just is going to be dependent, and have that conversation with yourself as far as what you're willing to do. And you are being a good person to yourself with that. And you're being friendly to yourself, and you're showing love for yourself. So yeah, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.